Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In today's episode, we are publishing a recent workshop that I ran. It's called the Small But Mighty Blueprint. So basically what it is it is a workshop, meaning that it is for you to workshop everything that I teach you, everything that I give you in order to get a result. Okay, that's what the workshop is about. I'm a trainer and assessor, so this is me showing up as a trainer to train you. Okay. So this particular workshop, Small and Mighty Blueprint, it's basically educating you on what a small but mighty practice looks like, okay? And I was inspired to create this workshop when I was in a bookkeeper forum on Facebook, and I heard bookkeepers talk about being busy, and I need to tell you, beware the busy bookkeeper, because busy doesn't mean thriving. In fact, generally, it's completely normal as an entrepreneur to have periods of busy, okay? But a successful entrepreneur, a successful bookkeeper in practice is not a busy bookkeeper, okay? Because success is the income and the time, okay? And then it's prioritizing whatever's important to you with that income and that time. So absolutely, my friends, beware the busy bookkeeper. Okay, now let's talk about what I'd like for you to get out of this podcast. First, I'm very excited that you're going to have it as a podcast because it makes it easier to get done. Okay, so I was only doing an implementer today, helping the tribe inside my program around productivity. And one of the things that I train on there is to habit stack. Okay, I'll say it again. Habit stack, which you can learn about in Atomic Habits, a must read if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, okay? But to habit stack is to combine one thing with another. So if you're driving, if you are folding laundry, if you're at the gym, if you're going for a walk, you can listen to this high value workshop and get so much out of it, okay? So what would I like you to get out of it? Well, I think I'll always come back to education, assets, implementation, team, and support. So first of all, I'd like you to learn a whole lot of stuff, okay? Second, I'd like you to discover what assets you need to consider building. Then I would like you to look at what you need to do to implement what you learn and what you build, okay? What kind of people you might need to help you along the way as well. And in terms of support, you're welcome to join our private Facebook community, okay? The Strategic Bookkeepers Way. Now, one last thing before we get started. If you didn't come to this workshop live, you won't have got your hands on the resources. If you would like the resources that I mentioned in this event, just drop me an email to hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Just put blueprint resources in the subject line. You can pause and do that now. Pull the car over. So if you would like those, jump in and get those. And then I'd just really love for you to be able to actually move the needle in your practice. And that generally is about direction and redirection. So when you listen to and learn from what I teach you inside this podcast version of our workshop, you are going to be able to have the opportunity to stop doing some of the things that might be holding you back. Stop thinking the wrong way, therefore stop acting the wrong way. Yeah. When I teach you concepts, the opportunity that exists is to actually accept what I'm teaching you, to learn and to head in a new direction. My job as a coach at the Strategic Bookkeeper, my job as a coach when I show up for you is to give you direction and redirection, my friend. Okay, so let's jump into the podcast version of this workshop and I'll see you in there. I'm Jeannie Savage, the Strategic Bookkeeper. I've been in practice for 14 years, but more importantly, 5 years in, I achieved a lifestyle practice. This means I scaled my business, could take my hands off the wheel, and draw a nice six-figure income while being time rich. And that's what I call my dream on my terms. I was recently awarded Women in Finance Innovator of the Year, recognizing my book, my podcast, my program, and my impact globally. The Strategic Bookkeeper is my life's work, and the opportunity to help bookkeepers globally achieve the income and lifestyle that sets them free absolutely fills my cup. Please do connect with me on socials at the Strategic Bookkeepers Way private Facebook group, or shoot me an email, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Hello, everyone. As you come through, welcome. I'm Jeannie Savage. I'm the Strategic Bookkeeper. More importantly, is how I'm going to help you today. Okay. Just to let you know how I roll, I'm a mix of structured agenda and notes that I've got right here in front of me, as well as authentic sharing. Today, I want to show you the small but mighty blueprint. Okay. So how you can build a small and mighty practice that gives you very high income, low stress. Okay. And why I encourage you to build a practice with less than 5 on the team, including you. Okay, so you don't hit the messy middle, because if you're anything like me, early on, I thought we were meant to just grow and grow and grow and grow. No, that will grow you broke, as the saying goes. Okay, so we're going to learn that today. For me to help you, you've got my book where I shared my secrets to success at the beginning of last year. You've got my podcast where we continue the conversation, and you've got my program, The Best Way I Can Help You Be Crystal Clear Right Now. Give me yourself for the next year, whether that's inside the program, which I would love, or the book and the podcast. Whatever you do, please just use my content for a year. I call that be like a fire hose, not like a sprinkler. You can go and digest a whole lot of general business information and books that your friends and family recommend. Okay. I have a proven system. We are knocking it out of the ballpark inside the program. I have met people that come up to me and say, Jeannie, I'm using your book and I'm building everything out. Trust me now, believe me later. Lean into my content for a year. That will help me help you best. Okay. So in terms of our agenda, I want to share the what, the why, the how of the small but mighty blueprint. Okay. This is a workshop, not a presentation. Comments, questions, suggestions in the chat box. The more you interact, the more I can help you. Okay. And give me 6 hours to chop down a tree. I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Can I tell you how we can sharpen that axe right now? And that is for you not to multitask. Okay. I giggle a bit because in my program, I'll show you shortly, I work around mindset, productivity, and mechanics. Okay. And what I will teach you slowly but surely inside the program, because mindset, we need to take a no-fail, long game, your success is inevitable approach and other things. In terms of productivity, we want to be not distracted. We want to be single tasking. We want to be proactive, not distracted, multitasking and reactive. If that's you, all the mechanics in the world aren't going to serve you like they will if you let me help you be a highly productive human, a book that I would love to write. One day, I'll try and get 1 book out a year now. Okay, so if you are multitasking right now and you've come in at a time where you can't not multitask, listen to this again later, because the way I'll help you is 100% of your attention. So as we move forward, please do make notes. Look at where you are now, where you want to be. What do I need to do about it? That's what we're going to work on today, okay? Now, build a thriving practice, delight your clients, and live your dream on your terms. What we cover today is what we do and problems we solve inside the transformation program. Problems I'd love for you to. So we really dived into these in the 7 steps. Okay, but you're going to have another resource I give you today, which is in the folder, is these slides, because they're like a workbook that you're going to be able to, I've printed mine out. Okay, you can have it on your desk. All right. We want to solve these inside the program: how to find new clients, how to convert them irrespective of price, how to stay relevant and thrive in a world of automation, AI, robotics, and cheap labor, the whole systems and team piece, and how to make advisory piece work. So the 7 steps, really recommend that one to get more on that. And of course, how to build a small but mighty practice. Now, in the 7 steps, I shared my story in a way that was to connect to your story. Yeah, worked really, really well, right? We were all able to really reflect on where we are now, where we've been, where we want to go. Okay. So today I'm going to share my story connected to the program. So I'm going to ask you to connect to the relevance of this to you, because I'm going to share something that I think is going to be really, really helpful. I do want you still to connect to where are you now? Where do you want to be? Okay. So I'm going to be going back and forth through the slides. It's not a linear presentation, okay? So as I share with you, I'm going to kind of go back and forth over the 7 steps, the 5 big keys, the blueprint, okay, the bookkeeping practice blueprint. Yeah, in last week's, I shared my story. Now, what's in my heart to share? It came to me on the weekend, okay? When I share with you, it's always from a heart-centered place. So it was on the weekend and I was having some time to myself, and it came to me really what I wanted to share. And it was really my story connected to how and why I built out the program. So my journey as a bookkeeper in practice, okay, and the problems I was trying to solve and so on. I want you to really connect to how this resonates with you, okay, and from my perspective. So I was reflecting on how challenging it can be to explain the transformation program, okay, and what's inside and all about it. And luckily, my tribe members often explain it better than I can, okay? So from my perspective, the program is rooted in why and how I created it, okay? So I've owned and operated my own bookkeeping practice for 15 years now. And when I think back to the early days when I first started as a self-employed bookkeeper, I was naive in that I kind of thought that everything would be easier than it was. And make no mistake, 9 out of 10 bookkeepers fail and will fail to ever thrive. And I was definitely one of those 9 out of 10 in the early years, okay? And I realized in those first years that I needed help. And so I went and I bought a system and I got a little bit of value out of it. Mainly what I did is I increased my pricing, and that allowed for what I spent on that program to kind of pay for itself. So that was okay. But it really missed the mark, and it missed the mark in ways that meant I built out something that would not miss the mark, okay? So when I was building out the program, so I've been in practice 15 years now, and when I was building out the program some years ago, I thought back to that time and I thought about that program that I bought, which is a lot like what's available today, okay? And realistically, it gave you some education on pricing. It gave you really broad general stuff around marketing, which I looked at and thought, that doesn't seem right to me, but they've promised me that this works. And so I'm going to go and follow it to the letter. And it did not work, and it was embarrassing. Okay. So just reflecting on all of that. Okay. I asked myself, what would have been ideal? And this is how I came up with, like, I reflected on the success I had 5 years in. I built my lifestyle practice, right? We'll cover that off again later. And I was like, okay, these are the 7 things: brand, menu, attraction, conversion, succession, and team. But then that's the 7 ingredients. But then I said to myself, okay, but how do I make those work? Like going back in a time machine to when I was struggling in my own bookkeeping practice. Yeah. I thought, well, it would have been ideal if somebody had have served me up the team that would just build perfect out of the gate digital assets and more, okay? Then I would have had to learn what I needed to learn, okay? So that's the education. But to be given a done for you collateral, all right? And then the hand holding every step of the way, and a mastermind group. The ideal scenario would have been a bookkeeping practice in a box, okay? So that's why I built the transformation program as a licensed membership program, because the transformation program, like I say, I find it hard to describe what it is. And it's a licensed membership program because it's a done for you program. So going back to the beginning and thinking about what was available when I was in my first years, okay, and largely what is available now, it was all education and then you go away and do it yourself. And what I've discovered inside the program and what I knew before I built it is if I try and teach bookkeepers everything and get them to go away and build it, they're going to be there forever trying to get versions out that are workable, okay? And what I've heard from tribe members inside other programs that joined us is exactly that. There was education, but it was very hard to get the return on investment or the traction. I heard from a tribe member that spent $50,000 with another well-known coach and could not make that amount back. Now she is making six figures with us inside the program, okay? Now, the other thing, I also drew on my experience working for a public company that managed several franchise brands, and I saw the benefits and the drawbacks of franchises, okay? So franchise fees in particular could be substantial. So when I reflected on my journey, I knew that I wanted to take the best parts of a franchise model, but offer it in a way that allowed for individual freedom with a fee structure that seemed like a no-brainer. Like, yes, this is an amount of money I can pay to be part of this system that is like easy. This makes sense because franchise fees don't always make sense, okay? And that's why I built this licensed membership program that is a bookkeeping practice in a box, okay? So the last thing I'll share with you is that one of the reasons I built it all out is because when I was going through a really, really rough time in my life, when my son was about 5 and my marriage was ending and things were really, really hard, the way that I actually achieved the six-figure income and the time wealth, that allowed me choice, okay? The choice to get myself well physically, mentally, and spiritually. And that's when I really wanted to reach other people all around the world, particularly women, and support them in the same way. Okay, so thank you for allowing me to share my story. Once again, it is really helpful if I understand how that is helping you as well. Just having a look at Mel, hearing the story helps me to connect and have confidence in knowing your experience can help others. Okay, thank you, Mel, because coming up with this, so this is me with my trainer and assessor hat on saying, how am I going to make sure that I can get these people that I serve all over the globe massive results fast? It is the heart and soul of how we get results. What you are looking at right here is the heart and soul of how we take these 7 steps, these 7 ingredients, yeah, and get results. And then in terms of this, which when I launched the program, it was apparent that the more visual I could make everything, the better I could help everyone. And they said, yes, this is ideal. This is the kind of thing we need, Jeannie. So once I launched the program, I developed this, which has gone through iterations to a point that I love it. You've got a poster-sized copy in your resources. And what you see here on the left-hand side, the day you join the program, you get everything, the keys to the kingdom. Okay. Now, I would say within 14 days of joining, if you're prepared to put the hours and the attitude in, yeah, then you can nail everything on the left-hand side here and have the experience that the tribe has. And that's when they say to me, okay, the next time I answered the door to a prospective client, I onboarded them at double the rates I would have before. And that means I serviced them properly and I put my oxygen mask on first. Okay, just going to go to the chat. So is the program relevant to new bookkeeper startup? Yes. So what I like to say to that, Michelle, is I really like you to be about 12 weeks out from virtually opening the doors to your practice, as I really dived into that recently. So we have got, I think, Rose in the room that has just joined. She's a startup and she's been going deep on all my content, ready to join. So absolutely, if you join when you're in startup, you get to build a Ferrari rather than a broken down car. Okay, so the answer is yes. However, I would like to see startups 12 weeks or less from being ready to bring on their new client. Because let's say you're in a job and you say, I'm not going to do that for a year. Well, then I would say use my book and my podcast and join me when you're 12 weeks out from starting. Okay. So what is a small but mighty practice? All right. We are in workshop mode, my friends. Remember when we were young and we were in primary school And before you hit puberty, puberty is when shame starts to present itself. I'm working with my son on that. So remember when you were a kid and the teacher would ask something and you just shout things out and you were so excited and you didn't care if you got it wrong? It'd be amazing if we get a little bit of that vibe going here today. So what is a small but mighty practice? Because this is a workshop and the more you interact, the more we'll all get out of it. So you are welcome to shout out what you think a small but mighty practice is. And do you know what? Sometimes I get so many insights from hearing from you, okay? So what is a small but mighty practice? Now, my little notes here are reminding me to absolutely share stories from the tribe and my story. Yeah, so I'll definitely do my best to connect to that. So from my experience, having built a busy practice in that first 5 years, yeah, if you had have asked me, I would have said, yeah, I'm so busy. And you would have thought, oh, that means successful. Be very careful. The busy bookkeeper is not necessarily the successful bookkeeper. Okay, so what is a small but mighty practice? Well, the way I want you to think of it, and again, comments, questions, suggestions, shout things out in the chat box. The way I want you to think of it is a small but mighty practice is an unbreakable, unshakable business, having nailed the 7 steps, the 5 big keys, the bookkeeping practice blueprint. Okay. Number 2, you plus up to 4 staff. I meet bookkeepers who are making the same mistake I did early on, where they think it's just about bringing on work, recruiting staff. I spoke to a bookkeeper, it was probably about 6 months ago. And when she told me what she was doing, I thought, oh goodness, she's headed for Painesville. Okay, I was there. So you plus up to 4, okay, under 5 total. Option to add on robots. We're doing all the testing and measuring. We're going to be able to bring through the first robots made for small business bookkeepers because they're all made for volume accountants, okay? Number 3, a pipeline of pre-sold prospective clients, yeah? Okay, that's something that most bookkeepers are missing the mark on. Number 4, whom you convert into high-paying, raving fans with products and pricing and advisory and more. Promises kept and more. Number 5, 200,000 take-home income for you. Yeah, 200,000 plus. I was talking to a bookkeeper recently with 10 on the staff and about 380,000 in profit, and both her and I could see that that could be doubled. And the other way to look at that is we could halve the staff to 5 and be making that 380,000 profit. Okay, so this is all modeling that we do, that we've done, that we've achieved ourselves. Lots of time, wealth. So remember I said I'll move through the slides workshop style. So basically a small but mighty practice is this, and I've talked about an unbreakable, unshakable business. Yeah, 7 steps, 5 big keys, and the blueprint. So the 7 steps, which I know most of you have read my book. So if you haven't, you've got my book and you've got that 7 steps event, because we're not totally rinsing and repeating. Nailing the 5 big keys and nailing everything in the blueprint gives you that unbreakable, unshakable practice. Because if we're going to achieve that income, okay, that then we get the time. It's quite linear. Build a thriving practice, delight your clients, your dream on your terms. That's the income, the time, okay? So if we're going to build that highly profitable, thriving practice, well, we do first need to know how to build the pipeline, okay? But what happens is some bookkeepers do manage to find a way to find clients, but their model is so broken that it ends up translating into busy, not thriving. So connecting to the small but mighty blueprint here and how to build that high income, high time wealth, okay? Absolutely, you're going to need to nail the mechanics. Yeah, that's everything you need to do. But without getting your mindset right and being productive, you will likely not get there, okay? And this is not a workshop on productivity or mindset. If that's what you want, send me an email. We'll see if we can do that on demand. These are things we work on inside the program. Okay, so modeling. I did this over the last few days for you. So I've run this workshop before, but my team knows every time I rerun a workshop, I redo it, because every time I rerun a workshop, I've learned more. I've learned more from the tribe. I've learned more about how I can present this stuff in a way that helps you use it. Okay, so hopefully you've got your workbook open, you're making some notes, Yet again, comments, questions, suggestions to help me understand how it's landing even. Okay, so this modeling is really great. I spent some time in Excel. I've actually got a couple of models. So we've got the small but mighty model, right? And then I've got like the classic broken model. I had this model. Absolutely, I had this model. I still get pushback from bookkeepers. No, but this is what we do. Step by step, this is what I did. Okay, so we'll go through that in a minute. So basically, revenue, right? Let's say you're turning over, this is you plus 2. All right, so the small but mighty blueprint is you plus up to 4. You can add robots because robots you don't have to manage. Okay, does anyone know what happens when you go beyond 5 of you on the team? I'll give everyone a hint. There's a really good podcast where I interviewed Meryl on behalf of Team Up, and she talked about her experience going from 5 to 20 staff, and something I wish I had. I wish somebody had told me this at the beginning of my journey. So if we don't get any takers on what happens when you go beyond 5 staff, it's called the messy middle. I did not know this. I wish I had her. So when you go beyond 5 of you, it's a bit of a numbers game. You just end up with more people to manage. So the profit starts getting sucked up in management. And this is a classic business model that many people know and many people don't. Okay, so the misconception. And at the beginning of this workshop, when I was building it out, I thought I really need to help everyone think the right way and act the right way. So how was I thinking the wrong way early on? Well, I thought build the revenue, employ team, it'll all work out. I didn't know about the messy middle. So when you're thinking the wrong way, you naturally act the wrong way. So in your workbook, I would like you to really start to note where your thinking's going wrong. Be honest with yourself. That takes courage. Where you're thinking the wrong way, which means you're acting the wrong way. Okay, and then ask me questions, make comments, suggestions in the chat box. So with you plus 2, because that's a nice little model, let's say you're turning over this figure here, 372,000. So I'll try and keep this audio friendly for podcasts. So revenue, 372,000. That can be US dollars, Australian dollars, UK pounds. It all tends to translate about 1 for 1, regardless of where you are, New Zealand dollars. This is based on 2 bookkeepers plus you. Okay, with 80% of time on bookkeeping by your bookkeepers and you serving 50% of clients with level 1 advisory. That means you're investigating the numbers with 50% of your clients. Okay, if any of this is like, I don't know what you're talking about, ask the question. We've got open hearts and open minds in here. No question will be silly. Ask the question. So cost of sales, 33%. So now in your workbook, you've got all of these. I want you to make note. What's your revenue? What's your cost of sales? If you're in conceptual stage, guess what? I'm giving you the blueprint. Okay, so 33% cost of sales. What's the classic bookkeeper doing? 60% cost of sales. That's what I was doing too. But there was a point at which I decided I'm going to nail this formula, and I did. Okay, so this is what we do. This is what we teach the tribe. Gross profit gives you 250,000, just shy of. That's a 60% gross profit. That's what we do. That's not a perfect 66% for each person. We've got clients with a 10% cost of sales. We've got clients, so we have a traffic light system. All of this we give you in the program. Okay, so then ops costs $20,000. This allows for the fee for the transformation program, which includes the team behind you. Right? Because without this, what happened to me? What's happening to you? This is for you to ask yourself. Use your workbook, okay? So when you join the program, the reason it's such a massive money saver is you don't need to go and spend 5 or 6 figures trying to find people that promise you a great website and a great this and a great that. And I know what I'm doing, as I outline in my book. Been there, done that. Yeah, you're going to get a 6-figure team with us. So this is where your ops cost goes up as you try and get people to help you, just like I did. Okay, what we give you in the program is the most efficient way to get access to everything you want and need at rates that you get a 6-figure team for. We charge about $5,000 for the year, right? Which you get a payment plan of $99 a week. We're very transparent. So your net take-home pay in this model, you plus 2 on the team, that's the modeling I wanted to show you today. This is about your take home, but also on top of that, this is so important. So Rose said, can you explain the difference between cost of sales and operational costs? Absolutely, I can. Basically, really important key takeaway here on the last one, because I see this with bookkeepers where some of them, and I'm holding bookkeepers in my mind at the moment, they might get to a point where they can get the revenue, right? And then they've employed, I call it the friends, the family, whoever they can, made tons of recruitment mistakes. Sometimes they're lucky if it's even 60%, but they actually have no one supporting them with general admin, marketing admin, and practice admin, okay? Or they end up paying someone and literally end up with even less profit, right? Their ops costs go up even more. Okay, so with our model, the way, and I'll show you more of this when we get to the how section. With our model, you get in this model, you've got support for general admin, practice admin, okay, and marketing admin. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the chat. So Rose, with your cost of sales is really anything that you spend to deliver the work, because we're in service-based industries. That is generally your staff and your software. Okay, now your operations cost is, for example, if you've got someone doing admin, they're an operations cost. If you've got software just for the running of your business, like practice management software, that's an operations cost. Your motor vehicle, your rent. So bookkeepers inside of our model can have very low ops costs because what you get inside the transformation program is so comprehensive. Okay, so you can really push your operations costs down. So Diane, thank you so much for sharing. I was there too. Good company, right? Michelle says, can you also please touch a little more on the 50% of revenue with level 1 of, yes, advisory. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So basically, what's the future of bookkeeping, which is here? It's not really the future. Happened yesterday, right? Well, the future of bookkeeping, I certainly hope that we all know that it's not numbers, not the grunt work, yeah? Automation, AI, robotics, cheap labor. The future of bookkeeping, and it's here, is strategic bookkeeping, okay? So exactly, compliance. Has anyone seen a robot do a tax return? Adapt or die. If you haven't read my book, read the Kodak story. Okay, so exactly, not just compliance, right? So the future of bookkeeping is strategic bookkeeping, which is investigating the numbers with your clients. And that is what we call level 1 advisory. It's like the obvious one, right? It's really obvious. Let me try and explain it from the program point of view. So inside the program, we have an advisory module. We certify you as a strategic bookkeeper, and you learn our methodology, our frameworks, and our agendas for basically catching up with your clients on a monthly basis and doing workshops to investigate the numbers. And that system was born when I was doing it with a client a million years ago, and I helped him pull $250,000 out. Our best result today is 6 figures in 6 months. So does anyone in the room know globally recognize what pillar 1 for the success of any business is? Up-to-date, accurate bookkeeping. But that alone doesn't actually do anything. That gives you the foundation of the house, but we can't live on the slab of a house. So it's what we do with those numbers that moves the needle. So when we hold our clients accountable to actually looking at those numbers is what moves the needle. So has that answered the question there for you, Michelle, on the 50% advisory? And also, just to let you know what you can charge out for advisory. So let's say you can charge out $100 an hour as at today. So it is the 8th of October, 2024. In Australia, the ICB would tell you you should be charging about $100 an hour. Otherwise, you're earning less than you would in a good job. You can charge more like $250, $300 an hour when you investigate the numbers. Okay, because it's all about what the market will bear, but it's all about cost versus investment too. So we find that our clients generally make about 10 times what they spend when they're investigating the numbers. It's actually quite easy. Okay. Now, any other questions on the advisory part? Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you, Diane. Great questions. Okay. So getting outside my square. So basically, you are not doing any of the grunt bookkeeping here, and you've got about 40 clients. Okay. So if you're investigating the numbers with 20 of them, you're only spending 5 hours a week on that. And then the other 15 hours are just on the general stuff that you're doing. Okay. Yeah. And then Michelle says, and this all part of the learning and developing in the program. Yes, Michelle, absolutely everything, like a done for you bookkeeping practice, is inside the program. It's almost impossible. There's even something we haven't really fully released. The wonderful Joselle is just releasing the new version of betterinbusiness.global. We even have a done for you podcast. Okay. So would it be an offshore team? Yeah, I recommend. So we have someone we can refer you to, and shortly I'll say, if you want that referral, send us an email. So I'm big on the economic, tech and consumer landscape. For a long time now, I've been living in a global economy. Yeah. And absolutely adapt or die, as I say in my book. I recommend that you recruit from a global team. So if you look at the bookkeepers who are having success, we have a combination of local and global. Okay. In this model, it's you plus 2 highly affordable, highly skilled bookkeepers, and you're going to be recruiting them from global pool. Okay. I don't personally like the offshore word, but I totally get it. And I just want to go back to something here for you. So this is financial management, okay? It's the rules of the game, not my rules. It's the rules of the game, okay? But in the words of Karen Andrews that I interviewed on the podcast, and exactly what I say and what I discovered, when we bring on global team, it's not, absolutely it's about financial management is part of it, putting your oxygen mask on first. But one of the other things that it's about is raving fan clients served properly because you have the time, the systems, and the advisory, versus no support on general practice, marketing, admin. You're working more than 40 hours a week. Clients who are not raving fans because you're too busy dropping balls, not solving enough problems, and they're staying for convenience, not relationship. Okay. So if we've got any more questions on those, just let me know. I'm going to keep moving through, but we can still ask more questions, okay? Just going to, so this is the broken model. You've got all the slides to take away as a workbook. So all this is highly achievable. I use conservative advisory, meaning the level 1 stuff, that's awesome, but you can add on any other advisory you want. So for example, I'm a really great recruiter. So for my clients, what happens when you do the investigate the numbers? You help the clients see what they need to do by asking powerful questions, right? And then, for example, well, I really need an admin. Okay, well, that's my secret skill. I can help you with that. I'll charge out, say, $5,500 to do that recruitment. Other bookkeepers identify budgets, cash flows, helping people get their database in order, whatever floats your boat and you can do. And then I also do have a Coach the Coach program where you can level up to be an extraordinary business coach. So this is level 1 basic, everyone can do it, investigate the numbers, okay? So that is why I wanted to do all that very conservatively, okay? So if you double these numbers, you double the numbers and you've got 4 staff, okay? This is napkin numbers. They're not a perfect formula, okay? I teach you about napkin numbers in the podcast called Plan for Success. Okay, so in this one, so it's highly achievable. However, 9 out of 10 bookkeepers are failing. If you came to the 7 steps, this slide will be familiar to you. It breaks my heart that 9 out of 10 bookkeepers believe they won't be the 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 bookkeepers will fail to earn more than they could in a good job. Failing bookkeepers will tell you I'm busy, but busy doesn't mean profitable or enjoyable. I was busy too, okay? Why are they failing? They're thinking the wrong way. For example, if I win work and employ staff, it'll all work out, right? Has anyone else thought that? Because I thought that for years at the beginning. And then I scratched my head and was like, why is the revenue going up, but the profit's not going up at exactly the same rate? Why? Yeah, I thought that too. Rose is so lucky because she's at the beginning of her journey. She gets to not make the mistakes. Who envies Rose? No, I wouldn't be here today serving you if I hadn't made all the mistakes. So I wouldn't change a thing, okay? So also thinking the wrong way. If I'm great at what I do, people will want to use me, right? It breaks my heart when bookkeepers think getting another qualification is what they need, okay? All right. Yeah, Gina, and I'm so glad it hits home. And the fact that you have said that, when you say this hits home, you're saying I'm open. I'm open to discovering. It gives me chills because this can work for you if you're open. Sometimes I meet bookkeepers who say, I know. I'm failing, but Jeannie, I know. And you just said the opposite to that, Gina. So well done, okay? So when we think the wrong way, like I once did, then we act the wrong way. I think I need to grow. I'll go and employ 10 staff. Ah. Winning work with a broken business model adds up to busy, not sustainable, profitable, and no time wealth. Bringing on staff with broken recruitment and management systems. Goodness gracious, have I been there, done that, okay? In my first 5 years, I was building busy rather than thriving. Just like 9 out of 10 bookkeepers, I was failing to thrive, busy, not thriving. So when I got it right, it took me 5 years, but I finally scaled into a lifestyle practice. And since then, I've built and sustained my little small but mighty practice. I don't get to give it much attention these days because I'm flat out on the strategic bookkeeper, okay? One thing I still do in my practice is I do the very high-end business coaching. So that's one of the ways I'm able to bring Coach the Coach to our graduate members, or you can access it early, but you've got to ask me about that so that they continue to level up, okay? So with coaching services, we can charge more in the vicinity in our calculator of $1,000 to $5,000 an hour. The impact is very, very high. When something is an investment, when you go and buy shares, it's not a cost, is it? Yeah. When you get business coaching with me, it's not a cost. Okay. My clients are raving fans, cornering the market, that kind of thing. Okay. So 6-figure income for me, tons of time, wealth, and the most important thing, survival. The ability to prioritize my health physically, mentally, and spiritually. Okay, so will you build busy or thriving? Are you building busy or thriving? Okay, thank you so much to everyone who's sharing with open hearts and open minds. That's why I said the agenda part of what I do is the hardest, right? Because setting you up for success, mindset. Okay, so how? We're onto the how section. Okay, so how do we build a small but mighty practice? How did I do it? How does the tribe do it? Do my best to connect to all these things right now. And I've already shared with you lots that connect to the how, but now we're going to really look at that section, okay? We've got to think the right way and then act the right way, right? So, for example, Gina, when you said this hit home, you're like, oh, I thought that. Jeannie's just given me redirection. I don't have to think that anymore. I'm ready to learn what it really takes. Yes, you need to be a skilled bookkeeper. Actually, more importantly, you need to keep your promises. I see very skilled bookkeepers break their promises. Your entire house will fall down if you do that. Okay, I'll go into that more in other content, okay? So, yeah, Mel, thriving, please. Yeah, right. And Angela, so I wish I had found you before I had signed up with another business coach, okay? Look, I hear from tribe members, some have been able to exit other programs and come into ours. It does have a full money back guarantee as well. And you can ask me anything later on that. But yeah, one tribe member opened up and said she spent $50,000 on a well-known coach and did not get the ROI. And she is so busy, she's on wait list now. And she's such a quiet achiever. She always shows up very quietly, doing the things, not saying much. Classic introvert. Okay, fantastic. So think the right way and act the right way. Simple doesn't mean easy, but if you join me and go step by step, yeah, that's what it's about. So the how is really, look, yes, we need to have an on-point brand. We need to know how to present our value. That's how I'd say menu. We need to know how to find an audience. That's my favorite description of attraction. Find an audience, yeah? And then engage that audience. I go into this in the 7 steps, okay? So you can listen to that. We need to know how to convert 100% of the humans we want to help. And that usually is about 70% of the people who ask us for help. Okay. So when I spoke to a tribe member, the before and after, and early on, she was onboarding a client. I said, what would that have looked like outside the program? She said, well, I probably wouldn't have converted them and it would have been half the rates, right? So just your ability to increase conversion is so important. And how you do this, yes, inside the program, everything's nailed for you. If you're not joining the program, please start with my book and my podcast. Okay. So advisory succession means what's next on the menu. Keep solving problems, my lovelies. That's what I said in that model a second ago, that you probably might have gone, okay, I don't know what that means. The opportunity that exists is to continue to solve problems for your clients. First, we sell them what they want, bookkeeping. Then we sell them what they need, advisory. Okay, systems and team pull it all together. So just keep the questions, comments, suggestions coming, okay? So the 5 big keys is another part of the how, okay? And then the other part of the how is the blueprint. We go back to these slides back and forth in a second. We're making good time. All right. And then, so the blueprint, which you've got to print out, frame it, put it on your wall, my gift to you, mechanics. And this is actually in the wrong order. I should have, it is actually, it's an ecosystem, like they all work together, but it is a bit linear. And mindset comes first, productivity second, and mechanics third. How do I know this? I learned from my trainees inside my program. Okay, so deeper on the how, I've given you a 10-point plan. I want to give you as much as I can. Okay, so, and it spans over two slides, and then I'm going to give you a recruitment blueprint. Even I was like, oh goodness, I'm sharing a lot. Okay, so your 10-point plan, and remembering that this is a journey. This is why I want to spend a year with you. I'm so proud that 70% of my members stay with me and graduate into the graduate club. And I personally reach out to anyone who's leaving after a year. And I'm so pleased that the 30% that didn't join graduate club said that the transformation program was the most incredible, high value business and life-changing program. It's hard to seek feedback because it's like a baby for me, right? But feedback is my love language. So your 10-point plan. So I'm going to go through those now. We'll go through them all and then maybe circle back, okay? So build a pipeline of pre-sold prospects. And in the chat box, feel free to kind of let me know anything. Comments, questions, suggestions, like, I haven't done that yet, or that's someone I really need help with, okay? Because if we don't win the work, there's no small but mighty coming, okay? So build a pipeline of pre-sold prospects. And I will let you know that the transformation program is the first one on the planet to ever give you the done for you that you need for this and the detail, okay? When it doesn't work, because if it doesn't, sometimes it's like, Jeannie, this isn't working. We go back to the steps and I say, you're doing this step? No, go and do that step. Because the detail is there, but you're human, not a robot. That's why I need to hold your hand every step of the way. So build a pipeline of pre-sold prospects. Number one. Number two, convert 100% of them, okay, into strategic productized services built for profit and joy. Okay, so see the products and pricing in the blueprint, massive. For most bookkeepers, that alone, they'll get their entire investment back or more. So number three, so this is your 10-point plan. What I find is the bookkeepers inside the program, they'll build about 150 if they're on their own. Some of them come to me with staff, and that's okay. We need to renovate the practice, yeah. But the ones that are solo will tend to build about 150 or so on their own, and then on the job. And then now when I say 20 to 30 hours a week, do you know what? In the program, they're giving me their world. The hours and the attitude are there. Yes, they're mummies. They've got to spend time on that. But where I've got 20 to 30, that first year, it's as many hours as you can give me. And it depends on your situation. That can be more. Yeah. if for some bookkeepers it's got to be less, okay? So, but you build out so that you're really full up, and then we fast and furious, which can take it up to 3 months, because you want to hire slow, fire fast. So we help you recruit an all-rounder, which I give you the blueprint on that in a second. So strategically recruit your first all-rounder on a budget of about 30,000 per annum. I find that 30,000 works no matter where you are. It's about Canadian dollars, US dollars, like it's around about the same, okay? So because that person needs to be strategically placed for your time zone. I have team everywhere. Our latest hire is in South Africa, okay? So hand over the numbers 101 to your all-rounder. So you hand off all of that. Now, here's where the magic happens. Hand over the general practice marketing admin to your all-rounder. I giggle because when you get to this, you're like, help, right? Have your all-rounder implement and use the strategic bookkeeper done for you standard operating procedures. When do we systemize? Not until you get a staff member. If you're in the program, the program is there for you and your staff. Your staff learn the advisory module, and when you recruit this all-rounder, we give them exclusive access to standard operating procedures, and they learn and implement them, not you. Now, Diane, can this work using locally based team member? Not in my opinion, because of the cost involved, okay? So it's adapt or die, and I've spent a lot of years working this model, okay? I don't believe for 1 second this takes local jobs in a country with 1% unemployment. Just digest that for a minute. But local staff, absolutely. But I would like to show you how to put your oxygen mask on first. And the first person I would recruit is global, so that it works with the financial management of your business. Okay, so I'm giving you education relevant to the 8th of October 2024. If I was educating you 15 years ago, this information would be different, okay? So, but this is to fit in with the consumer tech and economic landscape that I personally really enjoy. Trust me now, believe me later, once you get started with this stuff, it all works really well. I've had bad experiences too. So for you, Diane, and anyone that's not in our community, we can still refer you to the person that we've vetted. You just need to email us and Joselle will make the introduction. Okay, we've all had bad experiences. So inside the tribe members who are using our model and using the group that we found are raving fans. Okay, look, it's something that we would consider doing in the future, maybe, because recruitment is something I do really well. Diane, good company. I had bad experiences too, so you can learn from all of our mistakes, and I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute too. So the rest of the 10-point plan in terms of how, so I couldn't number these to 10, so you just got 5 and 5. So number 6 was your work delivery becomes advisory plus working on the business. Okay, something I'm really proud of, I was telling someone recently, is bookkeepers on the whole, our profile, like our psychometrics, we are the opposite of built for marketing and selling. And I'd love to know in the chat box if you agree. If you're like one of the bookkeepers who says, I hate selling, I don't want to sell. And something I'm immensely proud of is that the program takes these bookkeepers and turns them into world-class marketing and sales people. I'm so proud. I say anyone can take a salesperson and make them good, right? So your work on delivery becomes advisory and also on working on the business. Okay, so the growth, the leadership, and the management of the business, you work on your business marketing and selling activities, okay? So find new, upgrade existing, okay, is what we work on, because 50% of bookkeepers said, I just need to find new clients, Jeannie. I remember thinking that. That's thinking the wrong way. Okay, so your opportunity right now is to get rid of that wrong thinking. So you don't need to find new clients, you need to generate new business. Yeah, that's just a shift. Okay, thank you, Mel. So generating new business. If you've got 0 clients, absolutely, you want to find a beautiful seed to plant in fertile ground and water it so it becomes a big oak tree. But once we have 1, 2, 3 clients, I want to show you how to service them properly, because I've got clients who do their own bookkeeping and pay me $12,000 a year. How do you do that? I service them properly. I found out what are the problems they need solved, and now they're coaching clients, okay? And we've got bookkeepers inside the program who are leveling up to coaching. Investigate the numbers, coaching, budgets, advisory, everything you learn in the program. If you really want to learn something, teach it. You'll get the business blueprint, okay? So I know we're scratching the surface today, all right, but I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here to help you moving forward. If you join the program, great. If you don't join the program, I'll be at the other end of an email, a Facebook message, the Strategic Bookkeepers Way Facebook group. Rose sent me an email. I created 5 podcasts from it. Generally, when I get an email asking questions, I create podcast content. Okay, so I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry if this is scratching the surface. So number 5, build some more revenue and profit and bring on your second team member. Now, how much is dependent on how much time you want to keep for yourself. So early on when my son was young, I preferred to bring on team sooner. So for example, if you generate another $50,000 in revenue, which is going to take up, I'm just thinking to myself, how much more time would you spend on that? Could be 10 hours, could be a little more, although you could give that to your bookkeepers as well because they've got that 20% of time left. You can also pay your bookkeepers overtime, okay, if I'm workshopping that in real time. I value time, okay, as much as money. Money is security, food on the table, private dance lessons, okay? But time wealth, give me time wealth, please. Okay, so I personally, my dream, my terms, I elect to always want time in my life. Okay, so now questions, comments, suggestions on your 10-point plan. I'll just keep my eye on the chat. Remembering it doesn't have to be a question, it can be a comment or suggestion as we keep looking at the how, because this is your recruitment blueprint. I've given you this as a PDF in your resources. Trust me now, believe me later. You know, the bookkeepers who have success in the program, like Deb Stevenson, 1 year in, 331% increase in profit, 270 in revenue, whereas we normally see bookkeepers do more revenue and the profit is not as high in comparison. And everybody says to the bookkeepers knocking it out of the ballpark, how did you do it? What's the secret? And they say, I just did what Jeannie said step by step. Okay, so trust me, please, and believe me later. Okay, so recruit an all-rounder. So I created this for one of our tribe members named Andrew Royer. He's so quiet now because he's so busy. So Andrew is in the Northern Hemisphere, one of our Northern Hemisphere bookkeepers. I love Andrew because he's so direct, clear and direct. He loves to challenge me. Because he's in the Northern Hemisphere, often we're Facebook messaging, and I did a hot seat. So when you join the program, you get access to all this stuff. So if you need to, rewatch that was done last year, you can watch the hot seat. We've got the full, all the different things in there. So I created this for him to do in a hot seat coaching where we solve a problem for one person to benefit the many, and everyone's in the room. And what I helped him with was I need support end-to-end in my practice, admin to delivery. Okay, so that was to recruit a full-time premium bookkeeper, yes, from a global pool. I love my work from home mums. Might not sound PC, but that's not my job to turn up and be PC. Okay, so onboard into bookkeeping work with client, how-to videos in the client's way doc. So all of our done for you standard operating procedures, right? Ensure time and task requirements are clear and tracked. They track and report to you, okay? And then this is something called our team rhythm and how you manage a team well. So 7-minute standing meeting, I call it, the week ahead, the week in retro, monthly CFO meeting, and the annual meeting. Down here, onboard into all admin, practice, general HR, and that's where you bring them into the SOPs, okay? So need someone local, have them do the recruitment for you. Okay, so absolutely, I have someone local. I have the amazing, world-class, incredible Joe McMahon, runs my entire practice and takes care of all things systems, team, and advisory for you at the Strategic Bookkeeper. Okay, so that is the end of the how. In a second, I'll share with you a bit more. I'll try and answer the main questions around the program, etc. But really action time. So what have you learned? What will you do next to build your small but mighty practice? the business and life of your dreams. I'd love to know 1, 2, or 3 actions that you intend to take, and I would love for you to drop them in the chat box, okay? And I'm just going to wait for a second to see if we have any other comments, questions, or suggestions. All right. So Michelle says, how often do you run the program? 3 times a year. We take cohorts in. Angela, currently restructuring and rebranding. Oh, I want you in. Rose, my next step is the left-hand side of the blueprint. Challenge Rose to be the fastest person who ever nailed it. You can so do it. And put the timer on and just be like, I nailed it in this many hours, minutes, and seconds. It only took me a decade to nail. I was literally jealous when I started to see tribe members get results I couldn't get for a decade. I was only jealous for a second. All right, let's have a look here. First up, I want to read your book. Yes, it's a prerequisite. Do you know, Mel, the first thing you see when you join the program is read the book, right? Diane, trying to restructure for efficiency. Yeah, and Diane, does that mean, have you got staff? We have tribe members like that in the program. Taryn, decide who is my perfect client to find my first client. So Taryn, love to have you in the program. I'll make that a lot easier for you. Angela, I printed the book and highlighted. Yeah, that is a good way to do it. And you can get the hard copy. Although I've heard the bookstores can be hopeless with hard copies. The audiobook's my favorite, but then I like the ebook because you can go control find. Learning the how is important. Yeah, the how is important, right? Would you like to, or would it be okay with you if I share about the things that I think are relevant about the program? So now, Michelle, probably next year for me, but definitely interested, need to read the book. Fantastic. Listen to the podcast. Do what Rose did. I have one client having a meeting with Deb tomorrow. Yes, Bass Agent Supervision, because we connected. I think we connected you. That's fantastic. Deb is amazing. Okay. So build a thriving practice, delight your clients, live your dream on your terms by joining our thriving community inside the transformation program. Please know that question time isn't over. I'm going to keep my eye on the chat, okay? And this is still a time when we can learn, because what we do inside the program is what you need to do whether you join or not, okay? So it is all very relevant. So definitely joining the program is how you fast track your success. So results from the tribe indicate fast tracking is equal to 10 years. So I'm a data girl. I like my data. So 10 years, this is what I see when I see the results they're getting. I'm like, oh my goodness. Remembering 9 out of 10 bookkeepers will fail. The TSB program actually guarantees your success. Failure is only giving up. Yeah, I don't care if life gets in the way. I don't care what happens. Once you join the program, if you're prepared to play the long game, I even reach out to my tribe members and just say, is anyone lost? Does anyone need a hand? I want to identify everyone. I am going to work my bum off to make sure everyone has success, okay? So my North Star, okay, which is the destination I want you to arrive at. Interestingly, it doesn't say anything about bookkeeping. All right. So my deep desire and mission is to help women globally build true financial independence and the ability to put themselves first. That is, to prioritize their physical, mental, and spiritual health. And I love helping men as well. It's just, as a woman, that's the square I'm in. And it was a deep desire from a struggle that I went through, okay? Michelle says, how many are usually in a cohort? It's always really hard to tell. Every single time we open the doors is really, really different, okay? So I think there's about 80 or 100 of us in there right now. So it's virtually impossible to tell how many come through, okay? Can be 10, can be 30, just depends, okay? So if that's the destination I want you to arrive at, yeah, true financial independence and the ability to put yourself first, which I know comes from income and time, right? So that you can prioritize your physical, mental, and spiritual health to learn to put yourself first, even if you're a mum. So how I get you to that destination is the transformation program, okay? So that's how I help people globally, yeah? The 7 steps, the 5 big keys. So this is the pain or problems that we'll solve together. Not enough clients and no pipeline strategy. Lack of strong competitive advantage. Unable to sell my value and losing work to cheap or other competitors. High revenue, low profit, busy, not thriving. unable to make systems and team really work. So when we look at these, please feel free to tell me in the chat if you can relate to one or all of these problems, okay? I feel that I'm very clear on what we do. Yeah, so I like to make sure we've got the quality clarity, not tons of stuff. Yeah, all bare ass minimum. Very, yeah, true. So Diane says the last two. Yeah, so that's exactly where I was. So it's interesting what I share with you on systems and team really is quite different to what other people share, but the book is really insightful for that as well. Okay, so the prize and the payoffs will get together inside the program. So assets and strategies in place, some on autopilot, a visible and invisible pipeline of work. Okay, so a world-class brand and competitive advantage to onboard clients without price as the priority. Raving fan clients who get and see my value, making retention a breeze. Okay, remember thinking back to the beginning of my journey and having spent 6 figures and more on professionals to build assets that missed the mark, ending up building my own website that worked. Okay, I realized I need to serve it all up done for you. How I'm going to do that? Okay, I worked it all out like a crazy scientist. One day early on when I was running an implementer, one of my tribe members said really quietly, "How did you do it?" And I said to her, it took me to the edge and back, but here we are. Okay, so more of the prize, future-proofed, relevant, and thriving in a world of automation, AI, robotics, and cheap labor. The option to build a small but mighty practice with me plus 200K in income and lots of time, wealth, okay, or you plus less than 5. If your dream is to build bigger, then I will hold your hand every step of the way. Where I'm a lead, I'm an A leader, and I'm an A manager with an A team. So that's you, an A leader. And for you, Diane, that's what we need. We need you to be an A leader and an A manager with an A team. I was a B leader, a B manager with a B team that is time and joy sucking. That leaves me shaking with anxiety. Has anyone been there with the team? So these are the 7 steps that we will nail together using these 5 big keys that I think by now you can see how passionate I am about these. Joining us means, I'd smile at this one, you will not need to recruit this top 10. Imagine the saving, imagine the impact, okay? We even give you access to our little black book. So there is not much that's not inside there. We have a templated website at Biz Inc. with our intellectual property that they can knock up in no time for you. So anything extra, because not every bookkeeper needs a website, but I mean, it's all in there. Okay, this is a 6-figure team and please do not hire them. So the Education Academy mobile app and desktop. Okay, so when you join, you get the Academy in 2 forms. So you're going to learn exactly what you need to know in detail to build your small but mighty practice with the income and lifestyle you want and deserve. All education is built for the busy multitasking mum, audio-friendly podcasts, open in the native podcast app, okay? So no time, no problem, because you're going to digest everything multitasking. I'm just going to go back to the chat. How do you help with socials? Yeah, we have a done-for-you vault of social media templates. There might be 500 in there. So what we do with the social media, because social media should take you 1 hour a month to do, okay, and we give you all your social media is branded, so then we give you the templates. You just pick your templates. So what is social media for too? Do we make direct sales out of it? It's for credibility. It's part of the customer journey. But yes, we give you full done for you social media templates, okay? But keep the questions coming. Just to confirm, so you've got 2 options for fee structure, and I'll show you those in a second, but basically $99 a week. It's US dollars for a commitment of a year, full money back guarantee. We also have a trial option. I was saying to Pedra, the transformation program is not very appealing. When I say you need to spend a year with me, I should give you something that's a silver bullet. It's more appealing. I can't do that, not with my ethics intact. I need to give you what it takes, okay? So we're going to spend a year together, but if you really want the trial, we give you that as well, okay, to make it feel lower risk, all right? So then the assets. So education we've done, team and education we've done, assets. Okay, so $1 million collateral, oh my goodness. So imagine being given an entire suite of digital assets, literally everything you need to gain an immediate world-class competitive advantage, a practice in a box that would allow you to choose your own adventure, to win high-value clients, increase your prices, systemize, make networking work, and so on. Honestly, the assets are mind-blowing, says the tribe. Okay, so implementation, coaching, and mentoring. Surprised me a little bit that this is the one the tribe said is really that thing that brings it all together. We always get 10 out of 10 when because we survey everyone every month. Implementation, coaching, and mentoring will hold your hand every step of the way in weekly coaching sessions, plus daily support in the private Facebook group. Built for the busy multitasking mum and dad, they are recorded and available in your native podcast app. Okay, because we want it to be user friendly. I want to remove every barrier for you to get this done. And I'm constantly doing that. I was just looking at tribe feedback again and just itching to get in there and just look at how we could once again improve the user experience. But I make this as easy as humanly possible while there is still lots to get done. Okay. So your mastermind group, it's a proven fact that being part of a mastermind group will elevate your success to the highest possible heights. The tribe private community. Never feel isolated or alone again. The tribe is there for you 24/7. Be inspired by the wins and get support through the entrepreneur's journey. Okay. Be surrounded by a mastermind, not surrounded by a community of 9 out of 10 who are failing and telling you that they're busy. Okay, really want you to digest that. Okay, so with regard to the blueprint, I give you everything you need to nail this. The team and I will hold your hand as you learn and implement. Because of the done for you, you can be using all this within 2 weeks of joining. Okay, so I'd say you come in, you get your done for you brand foundations. You just need to modify a couple of things or get Mickey to do that for you. Products and pricing, we want you to really hit the ground running with that. Done for you product ladder. If you've ever heard of a lead magnet, all of that's there. I don't like those phrases. I say we're solving problems, not selling. So we say welcome line nurture assets, conversion process, everything you need to hit the ground running, even a done for you business fundamentals training that I record and pitch you third party. You join the program, you grab it, you install it. It's, everything you need and more, okay? So most of the assets, most parts of the program in isolation are more valuable than the entire fee alone, okay? So that's really important to know. Okay, so you'll also get access to the little black book that will unlock remarkable people and resources for every area of your business, including recruiting a global team. In the program, we've had bookkeepers get a 100% return on their entire year's fee in less than 2 weeks. So also ask the tribe. Okay, we've got all the podcasts dropping in. You'll hear from tribe members early on. They're in there, say, over a year, only 8 weeks, 6 months. Some have got staff, some haven't got staff. And then we've also got testimonials and reviews. We haven't been able to publish all of them. We have just endless mountains of them. Fantastic. Here's one, for example. I was one of those people that was sitting on the fence, having been disappointed by previous programs and feeling unsure about making time for it with 3 kids and a husband to attend to. After a conversation with Jeannie that I remember, I decided to take the leap, and I'm so glad I did. The program seamlessly fits into my lifestyle, allowing me to apply the strategies on the job. Jeannie's responsiveness and the incredible support from the tribe make this experience a standout. Not to mention the done-for-you assets and the affordability sets it apart from my past experiences. My advice, don't overthink it, just go for it. The transformation program comes with a money-back guarantee. Now, let me just go to the chat. Is there a CRM type system? We show you how to use a CRM, meaning when you're going to do the keep in touch marketing, if that's what you mean, like a database CRM, so you can do your email marketing, etc. We don't give you a CRM. There is one of our tribe members who has now actually providing that to tribe members. We just direct you to use something like MailChimp, or now there's one through one of the tribe members that you can use as well. If you have any more questions about CRM, Gina, please do let me know. Love the question, because almost every bookkeeper is not thinking CRM and they're not leveraging the diamonds at their feet, which is keep in touch marketing, okay? So yes, the money back guarantee, pretty simple. The entire program has paid for itself in weeks, say tribe members. I guarantee that after you complete your lap around the sun with me, the program will have paid for itself. Okay, let's go into that in a bit more detail. So the program is designed to allow you to build the income and lifestyle you want and deserve, pay for it week on week. So this is really from how that program was developed. When I started my bookkeeping practice, I did it out of need. It was the global financial crisis. We had 2 mortgages. You couldn't sell houses. Interest rates were almost double digits. I went back to work. I wish somebody had said, give me $99 a week and I'll help you knock it out of the ballpark. I've really done what I felt like I needed as well. So when I reflected on my journey and I thought about what kind of program and support would have been ideal for me from the beginning, like I shared with you at the beginning of this, I thought about what was available then and what is available now. Franchises, I think they're up around 50,000 and more now. Popular systems from 7,000, coaching and mentoring from 10 to 36,000. Your investment in becoming a strategic bookkeeper, little own that none of these things scratch the surface of what we give you. I truly believe that's because what I built came from a heart-centered place of purpose. So your investment in becoming a strategic bookkeeper with me inside the program is a fraction of a fee for a franchise priced for bookkeepers by a bookkeeper. It's $99 a week for a commitment of a year, a lap around the sun. Yes, there's an upfront payment option. The one I'm really passionate about is the weekly fee because it makes it accessible to bookkeepers all over the world. My intention is that when you implement, this pays for itself week on week. That is the experience of the tribe, especially when they just follow everything step by step. Okay, we get 80% of bookkeepers take up this, 20% take up the one-time in advance payment. As I say, 70% are staying on for year 2 graduate club and beyond. So there is a trial option. It's really popular. Okay, it's just a one-time payment and you can see everything except the Canva assets. Now, what I mean by the Canva assets, for example, because you know how it's done for you. Okay, so with the Canva assets, like I'm going to give you an example, $1 million storybook brochure. You will see that in the videos, but I don't give you the asset, okay, because it's just something I've decided they are so high value that, but this is what happens with the trial. We get people come in and a few days later they say, look, this is great. I want to press go and get my hands on those Canvas. Then we just pop you straight into whichever one you want. Okay, but this is just your low cost, low risk trial. So return on investment in terms of what you make by joining the program, it's so easy to get your investment back. Basically, if you bring on 1 new client or upgrade 1 or 2, the whole program's generally paid for itself. So it's really easy to get the return on investment, okay? So what one person says about investment, there is nothing like this program on the planet today, nothing this comprehensive, no one leveraging the power of a network to provide you with done-for-you marketing collateral and a world-class competitive advantage. Just having a look at Michelle's, this may sound like a silly question, but are the fees? Yes, they're tax deductible, correct. And not only that, everything is CPE. Like for me, I know as an Australian bookkeeper, CPE is so onerous. So it's all CPE, either practice management or technical, because all advisory is CPE. So you can fill up all your CPE as well. So sometimes I get asked about after year 1. Okay, so after year 1, you'll get the opportunity to join the graduate club. So this is a licensed membership program. So after year 1, you can go it alone and just don't use our licensed assets. Okay, so for example, if you're using our $1 million storybook brochure, you would know that you need to build out your own version of it, but 70% are staying all in. It is so high value. You can elect from gold, silver, bronze, and they start from $99 a month, just so you are crystal clear. So let's say you get a year in and you want the license only, you can get that for $99 a month, okay? But like I say, 70% are graduating and just continuing to level up. So how many, do you know what, the CPE is a bit endless because every week, so inside the program, the equivalent of 50 hours, and then every week, because we do implementers and you have a private podcast, there's new CPE. So it's just constant. So time, money, and fear keep us stuck, don't they? You know, the one I think keeps us stuck? I don't think time and money really is an objection. I think it all comes down to fear. Yeah? Like I once joined a program, it didn't work out. The voice of shame tapping you on the shoulder. Yeah? I think it really is fear. But I'm not going to ask you for more time. I built the program for the busy multitasking parent, and the time you spend in there is the time you need to spend on building a thriving practice. But you'll listen audio style and implement on the job. Okay. Thanks, Diane. I'm so glad you agree, because I really think it's just fear. Yeah. And I could say something about fear. Okay. So implement on the job like it's a toolkit. You've got your toolkit with you, reach in, get what you need, implement. So, you know, the tribe members laugh once they're in there when I ask them about the fee for what they get. Like, seriously, it would cost you well in excess of $100,000 to attempt to build anything like what we give you done for you, okay? So plus we give you the payment plan. I'm trying to reach every bookkeeper all around the globe, okay? So fear, don't let fear, doubt, and indecision cost you everything. Frozen by fear, frozen in fear of making a decision, frozen in fear because you once paid a coach and it didn't work out. All right. I've really enjoyed running this workshop today. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up today and collaborating with me and workshopping with me. I really hope you get something out of the resources as well. I hope you print the bookkeeping practice blueprint and put it on your wall. It's like a creative child I birthed. I'll leave it there and I'll see you all soon. Okay, my friend, now it is time to take action. So what are you going to do with what you learned today? The way I see it, you've got two options. You can go it alone to try and save some money, or you can back yourself and go for it and join my tribe. And let me tell you, we are knocking it out of the ballpark. That's not a sales pitch. That is me serving you, dare I say, courageously. To find success, I 100% know you need the mechanics, which is like the keys to the kingdom, but you also need to get your mindset right and be super productive. And these are all things I help you with inside the program. I could go on about this forever because I really want this for you. Have a prosperous week, and I'll see you in the next episode.